This will be a short presentation to update you on STAAR and TAKS testing for the summer of 2012. Starting on Monday, July the 9th, the STAAR testing for English 1 writing will start at 7:30 in the morning. We encourage students to take the English 1 in the morning so that starting at noon there is a writing, the same test will be given, and all the math tests. So if a student has a math test and they need a writing test, they'll need to take the writing test in the morning, then the math test in the afternoon. On Tuesday, July 10th, in the morning we'll have a reading session for all students that need to retake the English 1 reading test. And then at noon, another reading test session will start, as well as all the science tests. So please be aware if you need to take a science test and a reading test, the science must happen in the afternoon, and you'll need to take the reading test in the morning when you sign up. On Wednesday, July the 11th, all the history tests will be scheduled in the morning, starting at 7:30. And then at noon, we'll have the English 2 writing tests. And then Thursday, July the 12th, is the English 2 reading test and any makeups for students that had multiple tests in one day. So that is the STAAR summer testing schedule. Now, as far as TAKS, they will be taking place at Humble High School on the same dates, Monday, July the 9th. If they need to take an English TAKS retest, those will start at 7:30. On Tuesday, July the 10th, starting at 7:30, are the math retests. On Wednesday, July the 11th, starting at 7:30, are the science retests. And Thursday, July the 12th, starting at 7:30, are the social studies retests. And again, that's all at Humble High School. So please register for those. We'll talk about that. As far as the STAAR test, to pass a STAAR exam, there is a minimum passing score. And the students were given a sheet of paper with their scores on it on, I believe, Tuesday, May 29th, and they should have brought those home. If they did not meet the minimum passing standard, the score they received is in bold italic print, and they must take the retest on the given dates that were on the previous slide. And they should be contacted about setting up for those retests. Now, as far as graduation requirements, those are different than the passing standards. And to graduate from high school, a student on the English 1, English 2, and English 3 add the reading and writing scores together, and that total must be at least 11,250. The total required for graduation for math, you add the Algebra 1, the Geometry, and the Algebra 2 together, and that total must be 10,500. And then for science and social studies, for the histories, world geography plus world history plus U.S. history, the three, they tend to be 9th, 10th, 11th grade courses. Add those together, they need to be a 10,500. And then the science courses, biology, chemistry, and physics, add those together, we need to be a 10,500. So actually the graduation requirements are the sum in each category. You add up their English scores, all of them, the reading and the writing, for the 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade. You add up all the math courses, that's a different sum, it's 10,500. You add up the history courses, that's world geography, world history, and U.S. history, has to be 10,500, and then you add up the sciences. Now, just to show you some numerical values, if you just pass the English courses, the passing numbers are here. If you add those up for English 1, English 2, and English 3, add those together, you get 10,840. Now, if you'll notice, 10,840 is not high enough to meet the graduation requirements of 11,250. So just passing each test will not get you the graduation requirements. And I set up some other numbers. I raised the numbers to 1850, 1840. If you add these together, 11,540 is higher than the minimum, and this particular student with these scores will be able to graduate. So to find your graduation requirements, you add together all of your English scores, all your math scores. Another example, if you put together just the minimum math scores, Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, add those together, the minimum does not meet the 10,500 total that's necessary for graduation. And just because we make higher than the minimum, I put some numbers together, 3,500, 3,462, and 3,450. I added those together, And again, these are higher than the minimums, but this total is not up to the 10,500 minimum total for graduation. So in this case, students are going to have to take some of these tests over again. Now, with this in mind, Humble ISD tried to look ahead to see a range of scores that they would recommend students take the test over again. So, on the printout that your student brought home, if their score is between 18, 13, and 2000 on the reading, or these other numbers, it's underlined, and Humble ISD recommends that they go online and register to retest in those particular areas so that their final total later on when they get up to be a junior will be high enough to graduate, so they don't have to retake them later on. So we do recommend that if they just passed, if they fall in this range, we recommend they take a retest. And then when to take the retest, Humble ISD suggests students in biology and world geography currently take the retest in the summer as soon as possible, because the material will be fresh in their minds. The further you get away from the course, the more difficult it is to remember the content. We believe math and English tend to build more, but again, we do encourage students to take the retests early and get the scores raised as soon as possible. Now, as far as registration, if students aren't required, if they're required to take the test, they'll be contacted by a counselor. If they're not required, if they fall into that retest recommended area, there are links available on the Humble High School website, and we encourage you to register for summer testing. Just go to the website. Up on the front page of the website, there are links available for both TAKS and for STAAR. And there is a deadline of June the 18th so that your materials will be ready for your student when they arrive. Thank you. We appreciate your listening.